get to know you better so we can serve you better. Go to 1010XL.com, fill out the survey, and you could be a winner.
After attending a Saturday Bumps and Bruises clinic by Southeast orthopedic specialist, my son's hip and shoulder issues were diagnosed quickly, and he's back playing. As a busy family, we really appreciate their prompt attention.
I've been having knee problems for probably 6 months, and I had heard about Southeast Orthopedics on the radio, and I gave them a call. They got me right in. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. It was painless, and it's been doing fantastic.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. If the Jags needed more bulletin board material, look no further than NFL.com, which gave Jacksonville an F grade for their 2026 offseason. The article criticized Jacksonville for losing key starters in free agency, also questioned several of their draft picks, and said that the team did little to address their major needs. Right now, 96 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
I'm very discombobulated because I burnt my tongue on my lunch today. And now all I can think about is my burnt tongue. And I tried to put ice on it, and I don't think anything's going to remedy it until like a week from now when I have new taste buds.
That's the worst.
When you just peanut butter. I think that brings it back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that
I don't
tonight.
know where I heard that, but somewhere in this
Well,
brain
you just
that
love
came
peanut
out.
butter. So
I do like peanut butter.
It's your
You know what? I
panacea.
switched my brand, and I love it. Remember I told you?
You did.
The palm oil?
Yes.
Remember that story? And
Yep.
Yeah, I really like the peanut butter.
I don't have that type of peanut butter, though.
Yeah.
The palm oil.
No
I just
palm.
have, like,
That's what I'm
Jif.
saying. We got rid of the palm oil one. But where'd you burn a tip? In the back, in the middle?
Yeah, like right on the tip.
What were you
yeah.
eating?
Soup.
Ah, the
Dang
old
it,
soup trick.
I had hot soup. At Publix last week, Panera soups were BOGO. So I loaded up because I love their broccoli cheese soup. And then I ended up heating it up, I think, a little too long and was a little too excited. But alas, I will survive.
Yeah.
But
You do love your food piping hot, too.
I do. That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Is there's that like right in the middle where you want it, or I want it extremely hot, but not so hot that it's going to burn my tongue.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a tough line right there,
is.
LB, to find. You know?
It absolutely
it's like,
is.
Like coffee, you know? Like it can be brutally,
I'm a baby when it comes to like
burn
temperature.
your whole
hot.
mouth, you know?
I put ice
Spitting it
cubes in my
out.
coffee most times, like even hot coffee. We were talking about sushi soup, as you called it.
Yeah, sushi soup. Sushi soup.
Clear
Sushi
soup.
soup. You ever
That,
hear of
they bring that
stuff?
soup out, and it's always like steaming hot. I have to put ice cubes in that. Like I cannot eat something when it's that temperature hot.
Yeah. No, me neither. I don't like burning anything. You know what gets me? Not the club crackers, but other crackers, when they'll poke, like they'll scratch your like up in your roof of your mouth, and you know, just stuff like that. You're like, dang, you wake up in the morning like, dang, whatever, it too
Yeah,
viciously
sometimes like
or
a
something.
sore on the inside of your gum and
Just
stuff like
tink.
that.
Yeah, it'll get you.
It's funny how
whatever.
it's like I can deal with like a broken toe for a few weeks, but the moment I burn my tongue, it's like, I can't.
This is over.
I can't do my
make
job.
it.
I'm not gonna be able to survive. By the way, we're going to hibachi tonight for my cousin's birthday. Happy birthday, Aaron.
Good for you.
And I was immediately like, now I'm not gonna want to eat the sushi soup. I can't wait to
We'll
tell
try
everyone
the
that's
peanut
what
butter
it's called.
trick, and hopefully you're good.
Yeah, hopefully I'll rally
There you go.
by this evening.
Perfect.
All right, by the way, we saw the news that came out about Christian Pulisic, and I feel like, yes, we were hard on him because he did give the ball away 11 times, and he only played 7 minutes into the second half before he ended up sustaining a bone bruise and also a microfracture. So basically, he tried to give it a go even after that. I feel like he should have just crumpled and gone off the field at that point in time, but everyone's been so hard on him, obviously on the team as a whole, but really hard on him. Do we owe him a little bit of an apology now that we know how bad the injury is?
I didn't
get off the field. You're trying to win a game. That's what my thing was from the beginning. I never doubted he was hurt. I honestly got in an argument with someone at the bar the other day, and I was like, he was hurt. Like, you could tell he was, and he also came into this injured. There's another thing is he's injured a lot, so that's a problem. But
he
came
injured his
into
calf 2 days before the game against Paraguay.
Yeah, and so you already were coming into this hurt, and I remember that being a big conversation. And then you powered through and you played great, so everything felt okay. But you could tell the moment that happened, I mean, it wasn't like for a minute, and you will see some of them do that, like they'll roll a little while, and you could tell they're trying to get some time or a foul or whatever. It wasn't like that. You could tell he was actually in pain, and then afterwards, anytime they did like the full zoom of the field, he's like walking and limping, and I'm immediately like, get off, you're hurting us at this point. My criticism was always more of that, and some of the, I don't know if that's on him or coaching more, because I don't know the soccer world well enough to be like, should the coach have been like, you need to get off the field, or should Christian have done that? I don't know. And so I think that's mine. I know some people have. There were a group of people that were definitely like, oh, you're a baby, play through that, including one of the, was it Carly Lloyd or one of the former women's soccer players?
Said,
show up until you're not, your career's over or whatever. And so some people were a little bit more critical. I was always more on the side of like the moment, like you clearly were not okay. Get off the field, because there was a lot of things that you had a lot of work to do and you couldn't do any of it.
Yeah. When he left, I was like, I don't know. He just really didn't do that much while he was out there anyway. So go ahead.
Nothing
go sit down.
Yeah. Even pre-injury that game.
Yeah. Right. It just didn't seem like, I don't know. They all were off. I don't know why they weren't jacked up. They got their teammate back, after the red card fiasco, and you think that get you all fired up. Maybe he would have stepped up and done more. You know what I mean? It just seemed off. But with him, look, hopefully he gets, healthy and healed up. But, I mean, you either take yourself out or you don't play at all. But if you're out there, you got to do something. And even if you're hurt, you got to, guys are hurt all the time. It depends on the severity, obviously. Now, microfracture is a big thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They bore holes in your cartilage or something to get it to grow, or I don't even know if it works all the time, because I remember Tony Brackett's had it done. Kevin Hardy might have had it done.
I think
and
Miles
back then
Jack
it was,
had it.
and Miles had it. And back then it was like almost like taboo, like that's it. Like you're not, almost like the old ACL. When you had an ACL in the 80s, it's like, forget it, career ender. They're going to open you up wide open. 70s was even worse. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
Tommy John, once upon a time, was also a career ending.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I feel bad that he's hurt, but, I don't feel bad about people giving him grief for not stepping up. You're the star of the team, It's the biggest game. Like big players step up in big games and make big plays. I mean, that's what you're paid to do, and
the
that's
first
why
half
you're a
is
star.
When a lot of those turnovers came to
before he was
pre-injury.
injured, yeah. And so, obviously, as we talked about the other day, as a whole, the team didn't show up and perform the way that we anticipated or hoped that they would. But now they all have to figure out what went wrong. Like, why on that stage did we fall completely flat? And we've talked about
more aggressive,
right? We've talked about that here at the Jaguars. Was it not this past season, obviously, but the season before, the home opener? I'm trying to remember which team it was, but we talked so much about how they looked listless. And it's like, wait, this is your home opener. How did you not show up more?
Yeah.
And that was really frustrating. And that's what it felt like again with this. It's like you get your hopes so built up because you think that this is going to be maybe a team that could make it to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And then, not so much, but I just wanted to bring that up because the news did break.
No,
today
I know. Yeah,
about the
look, I mean,
microfracture.
it's again, like you said before the injury, it wasn't like he was standing out. You just think they would have found a way to be more aggressive, especially him. He should have led the charge, And even if he wasn't feeling 100%, like they're still looking for you to, be that spark. Figure something out, and then whatever you pull. When he pulled himself out, I wasn't like, oh no, we're doomed. I thought, we were gonna.
Thank you. Yeah.
I thought it was, but I was like, was that 2 or 3 years ago?
It was that's when Etienne fumbled. It was
right.
It was the home
down
opener.
There. Okay.
That the
the
Jags,
next game.
Yes.
Well, both they came out flat that year, but
that was unbelievable.
Yeah, because I remember even the Dolphins
back
game.
To back,
yeah,
the fumble and then the bomb. Oh, Like, come on.
Oh, it was against the Browns. Yeah, the Browns.
That's what I had
won.
my head. The
Me too.
Browns,
And then I was thinking, I'm like getting the last 2 and 3 years kind of confused between
so
those.
that
Because
was-
I first thought Browns, and then I was like, no, maybe it was the Dolphins. But that's how they.
Yeah,
That's when they
was
called
in Miami.
it Trevorville. Was that the
Yes.
Trevorville game?
That was the game where.
So
it was
here, I was
big
just about to say,
mistake.
talk about
Yeah.
horrific
Big.
quarterback performances.
Trevor
So the-
Bank.
Yeah,
Was it Trevor Bank?
Yeah.
Trevorville? Oh, it was
Trevor
Trevor
Bank,
Bank.
yeah.
Terrible idea. Whose ever idea that was?
The Browns ended up winning 18-13. That sent the Jags to 0-2 because obviously the Jags had lost to the Dolphins the week before. Deshaun Watson was 22 of 34 for 186 yards. That was the better performance of the day. Trevor was 14 of 30 for 220 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was a stretch in that game where he didn't complete a pass for like 6 drives or
Yeah.
something, and we were like, "What is going on?"
Trevor Bank. That
He
was
was
like a
sacked
little
4
premature.
times.
Yeah.
Like,
But again,
Kid
The
had a
Browns
good-
defense that year, they were sacking everyone. I think
Yeah.
that was the same year, I want to say, where Justin Fields got sacked like 14 times by the Browns like a week or 2 later. That's when their defensive line was going crazy those first 5-6 weeks.
But yeah, obviously that's how the Jags opened the season this year's here against the Browns. They better not come out listless this time,
Definitely.
I don't think
lackadaisical.
they
But
will.
yeah, I don't think they will
Not with
ever
Liam.
under Liam Cohen, other than I guess that one London game against the Rams we talked about. Like they just
Yeah.
didn't have it that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there could have been some ghosts flying around in that one between his
Sure.
time in LA and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
whatever, live and
Little
learn. We'll take the
McVay
13
voodoo.
wins. Yeah, a little voodoo that McVay's throwing on you. I don't know. He's smart like that. But yeah, look, I'd like to see that rematch in a real big game. Jags versus the Rams.
That
the
would-
Super
in
Bowl.
America.
If it's a real
Kinda
big
cool.
game, then
In front of America.
In
That
America.
big game.
that would be the Super Bowl. if it's a real big game.
Yeah.
It
Well,
would
I'm
be
just
Super
saying
Bowl.
not in London would be
Right.
nice too.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
But yeah, different conferences, so that's why it
Yeah.
would have to be. Yeah. All right. I want to get to a little Travis Hunter talk on the other side. You're listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The home of Jaguars fans.
Follow every play, interview, and press conference.
Duval came out, supported us, and that's what we need.
1010XL, the home of Jaguars fans.
It's here, Middleburg. Firehouse Subs is now open at the all-new Clay Town Center. Try the bold new steak and cheese melts, stacked with premium steak, melted cheese, and big flavor in every bite. Firehouse Subs at the Clay Town Center, open now.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
He used to lay the lumber on the field.
No, I'm not a quarterback, but I like eating quarterbacks for breakfast.
Now he lays his opinions on Jaguars Today. Tom McManus. Fridays on 1010XL. Opened by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
Attention contractors. Stop wasting time dealing with permits yourself. Use PermitRockstar.com. Their permitting platform helps contractors cut permitting delays by up to 80%. Stop waiting and start building with PermitRockstar.com.
You know Zero Res, the zero residue carpet cleaner that leaves your carpets truly clean with no dirt-attracting soaps or harsh chemicals. Don't risk it with the other guys. Skip the disasters that leave your carpets soaked for days and do more harm than good. Keep the mud outside where it belongs, not trapped in your carpets. This month, get 3 rooms of Carpet Zero Resified, starting at just $129. Call 287-5727 or visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and ask for the 1010XL special.
Zero Res.
Next time you head into a Gate convenience store, look for Form Energy drinks, designed to provide energy, hydration, and focus, straight from Dana White and AB, celebrating those who embrace grit, discipline, and resilience in their everyday lives. Check out Form Energy at a Gate convenience store.
Celebrate America's birthday all this month with a dozen roses from Kuhn Flowers, only $49.95. Buy any color or color combination. A dozen roses, just $49.95 at Kuhn Flowers this month. KuhnFlowers.com.
Calling all artists.
The Jaguars Game Day Poster Series is back, and we're looking for bold, original artists to bring the energy to game days at the bank. Submit your portfolio for a chance to showcase your talent and design a limited edition Jaguars Game Day poster. Don't miss out. Be part of Duval Designs by visiting jaguars.com/Duval Designs.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL, presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farrah.
Taylor Doll, Time with Minutes. Jared Just is filling in for RJ Saunders, who's filling in for Emmanuel Fallerand. I feel like we around here have a lot of vacations this time of year.
Yeah.
So you got to take it before football season begins. But this song, by the way, is Dylan Marlowe called I'll Keep the Country. Dylan Marlowe, I've told y'all a few times, is coming to Jacksonville next week. He plays at Kickers.
Okay.
And yes, he was able to sell out that concert. So that's exciting.
Very nice.
For them and for him. Yeah. And so we decided that we're going to each play DJ over the next 3 weeks for our final 3 Thursdays before football season. Say that quickly.
That's what that was all about.
That's what that's all about.
Tommy doesn't understand our text.
I was like, they're going to explain it to me eventually, I figured. But,
yeah, so we have 3 Thursdays before training camp and football season begin around these parts to where our shows move up and then the Jaguars get to take over for a couple hours on their programming side. So today I get to pick all the music. Next week, one of you gets to pick all the music. And the following Thursday, the other one gets to pick all the music.
You can pick next week if you want.
So we'll go ladies first.
You're welcome.
And then Tom will wrap us up. So
we'll wrap it up.
I have absolutely no rhyme or reason for the songs that I picked. Obviously, that one, he's coming in concert next week. But in general, I just picked, and they're not all country. Don't worry, people. If you don't like country.
How many songs do you have to get together, roughly? 8?
I think it's
6.
How many? We have 8 breaks, so 7 songs. 6 songs. Okay. 6 songs.
No problem.
We'll trust Jared with the math.
Very nice.
Yeah, I might have sent too many, but that's perfectly fine.
So that's what this was. Okay, this is the first of the 3.
Yes, this is when
Very nice.
I say we're playing DJ. Really, Jared's playing DJ, but we're just telling him what music we prefer.
Right.
We're requesting. He's DJ.
Exactly. Yeah,
So-
we called it in to the hotlines earlier to the DJ and
I remember
requested our
doing that
songs.
younger, like calling the radio stations
absolutely.
and being like, I want to hear this. And then you'd hear yourself on the radio. I was like 9 years old. I'm like, I did it.
So
Same
and then
here.
record on your little machine so you could record the song on your tape.
Oh, yeah.
That was the best.
WLS in Chicago. Yeah. That was fun times.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Now we just play whatever we want, whenever we want, as many times as we want.
On the phone. It's
On
a
the
different
phone.
kind of phone.
Exactly. That is very true. All right, I want to get into Travis Hunter. Cameron Wolf of NFL Network had a lot to say about the Jaguars' second-year player. Obviously got injured last year, not the ACL, but the PCL, right?
Yeah, PCL.
Yeah, PCL. And so looking forward to seeing him at training camp, at least according to Cameron Wolf. We'll see just how much we get to see him.
He's ready to be unleashed and show why they drafted him number 2 overall. Talking to people there down in Jacksonville, he's running over 20 miles per hour, which was faster than he ran before that knee injury. He's cutting. He's in great shape. He should be full go for training camp. And he is still going to play both sides of the ball. The cool thing for Travis Hunter and the Jags is now they can unleash him as a starter on defense. And the goal is to eventually have him play nearly all the snaps on defense in a particular game. And they think he can be really elite on that side of the ball. I had one coach with the Jaguars tell me if he can continue to develop and show what he started to show last year, you guys, the media, are going to be talking about him as a top 10 cornerback this time next year. That's their belief in him. That's why they are putting commitment in him playing that much on defense. He will still play a lot on offense and make an impact on that, but it may fluctuate game to game. Maybe you have a 40% snap game one week based on the opponent and the game plan, and maybe another week it may be 60 to 70%. They still plan for him to be a two-way player, but the luxury for Jacksonville, they have 4 starting caliber receivers.
So as Ryan O'Halloran said, he'll be fully cleared, not necessarily full go when it comes to training camp. But my question is, based off of all that, I don't really think anything's new.
Yeah.
But anytime you say Travis Hunter's name, people get excited. Yeah. But what does week 1 look like? Let's ignore training camp and preseason, assuming that he's able to participate in training camp. But what does week 1 look like? How many snaps defensively versus offensively against the Browns?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I think for week 1, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's hard to predict now. I'd almost have to see more of camp and him going and how ready he is because, I mean, he's saying he's running fast and, you know, he's making those cuts, but then you start adding contact into that and how ready are you for him to be playing these full snaps. But I think you would expect it to be more defense just because of how many weapons you have on offense already. And I do feel like you're already figuring that out. You're already in those first 4 or 5 weeks going to be sorting out how to use your 3 tight ends and how you're using Parker and Jacoby and BTJ and if this run game can get going. So do you want to mix in another wide receiver into that right away and also try and figure out how to use Travis Hunter in even or whichever way more offensively? So I could see it early on being more defense. I think they're going to need it more defense, number one, to begin. And I also just think that your offense feels more set, but they're going to have enough things to figure out when it comes to how to balance that offense. You don't want to add something else in the mix that's just going to kind of confuse it even more early on.
First of all, Cam Wolf, you need to catch up, buddy. I feel like it went back in time a month ago. I mean, we all knew all these things, that he was going to be ready. They're going on defense. He might play a little offense.
The full go for training camp is what was the supposed newsy thing. But like I said, Ryan O'Halloran of the Times Union's like, he's going to be fully cleared, not necessarily full go to begin training camp.
Yeah, I mean, if he was full go, you probably would have seen him run around a little bit more during the OTAs that last week. Because that's only 5 weeks, you know. So if you're going to be full go, you'd see him out there probably working with the team and that kind of thing. But he'll be ready to go, and that's all that matters. Look, he steps onto the field as our starting corner. Our defense takes that big leap towards being a championship defense without adding anybody else to the defense. You know what I mean? Of course, you're going to have to add Ventrell or whoever takes over for Devin Lloyd, but he's that kind of impact player. And you could be like, well, you haven't seen enough. I'll say, yeah, but I've seen enough because you see how he can play that corner up close and personal, how he can get in their grill, how he can get his hands on them, how he is physical, how he's not afraid of contact. Like, I didn't know what to expect. Again, I never really watched Colorado. I saw the highlights and all the plays he'd make and all that kind of great stuff, but I didn't know that he could line up and take T. Higgins down the field, no problem. You know, I didn't know he could line up and be a physical guy, you know, make a play on Travis Kelce, you know, whether it's zone, whether it's, you know, man-to-man press. I think he's that kind of corner. I will say I do agree with what the coach that Cam said. Like he will be a top. He'll be top 3. He could be just as good as the best in the business right now. He's got the skill set. Now he's got to be healthy. That's number one. But if he's healthy, let's just say, like, because that's what you're going to rely on. You're going to rely on the medical staff and you're relying on the kid himself. You can be like, all right, you ready? You're good to go. There's nothing going on. You know, you throw him out there. You know, you let him play every snap on defense, and if you got a package for him on offense, throw him in there. If you need him, if you feel like you need him, if you're in control of the game, you don't really need him, or maybe you want to just, you know, dazzle the crowd a little bit or whatever. You want to just see if he can make a play or something like that, then throw him out there. But for me, in my opinion, if he's healthy, he is my starting corner on defense, and he's going to make my defense that much better. Off the bat.
Yeah, I'm with you. To me, if I don't see him on offense in the first game, perfectly fine by me.
Whatever.
They have a lot of, obviously, weapons.
As long as we're winning,
Right, and it is interesting because the narrative last year and what we were basically all led to believe is he's going to be a starting wide receiver, and then they'll sprinkle him in on defense in certain situations. And now it's obvious. It sounds like it's reversed. But again, I want to remind people, and we've talked about this, Travis Hunter, when he was at practice and throughout the offseason practices, obviously leading up to training camp, he was always in a wide receiver jersey. There was one day that he was working out with the DBs, again, still in the wide receiver jersey, which is the teal, not the white.
Yeah.
The DBs wear white. And he worked out with them, but every other practice he was following along behind the team, behind the offense.
Yeah, he was.
Following along with the offense. So even though you and I are fine if he doesn't play a snap on offense, assuming that the Jaguars win the game regardless, I don't know that that's really what I think. They still want him to be both sides of the ball.
Great.
And that's why this conversation permeates through Jacksonville. It's why every show is going to talk about Travis Hunter, because no other team is having this conversation about how many snaps should he play on offense and on defense.
Well, yeah. And I mean, I think last year you were just in a way different position. Last year you're like, all right, Tyson Campbell, Jordan Lewis, and Buster Brown can be your corners, but it's Brian Thomas Jr. and who? It was almost that question. You're talking about Parker, but you didn't know Parker was going to do what he did this last year. And so
Jarian
there was,
Jones, too.
and Jarian. And so I do think that when it comes to the offense last year, a lot of people were like, he's going to be wide receiver 2 because you don't have a wide receiver 2. So the conversation's way different. And so you would
had to help
expect
Trevor.
that.
Yeah.
You
Everyone
had
was
to.
so worried about
like we've
Trevor.
got to get Trevor right. You've got to know at the end of the season if Trevor Lawrence is going to be able to be your quarterback of the future or not. And so you've some of those answers, they were obviously answered last year. And then you also add Jacoby Myers within the season, and Parker has the season he does. You add 2 tight ends in the draft this year. So it drastically shifts the mindset, which is the cool thing about having a Travis Hunter is you can be like, which side do we need him on the most? And he can do both of those things. And that's part of it. If injury does happen, you do feel like, okay, if Parker Washington goes down, it's okay. Use a little bit more Travis because you feel like you can throw out there and you feel he can be a part of your offense and run that offense well and make big plays and get those yards after catch and all of the things that we saw in glimpses last year. And then defensively, you want him. I think most people are on that page now of let him be a starting corner and let him go out there and do his job with that sense. And it's just, I don't know if there's even specific numbers at the end of the year that you can say, I want to see this and this, like whether that's snap count split or whether that's this many yards and touchdowns or this many picks. I don't know if you can really do that with Travis Hunter. I think it's more so to your point, Tommy. Let's see you play a full season. And if they're not talking about you defensively, you're probably doing something right because that means you're not allowing a lot of big catches or touchdowns or anything like that. If you're getting picks, you're going to be talked about. But I don't know if all of a sudden you're like, let's get 6 picks from Travis Hunter. Let's more so just like shut down your guy and then we're not going to talk about you. So that's the one part of that. If he's playing a lot of defense and he's really standing out, they're probably not throwing at him a lot at certain points during the season. But I do think Campbell, also in his sense, it sounded like he was saying, which we said last year, that game to game, it could be different. You play a team that has a really good defense and you just need that extra speed or you need something a little bit extra to get that offense going. Maybe you use Travis Hunter a little bit more offensively during those. If you're playing offenses that are very high powered, then you're like, no, we need to put this focus in on you and you just be the best corner you can in this game. So I do think that from game to game, we'll see different snap counts on each side when it comes to Hunter.
Tom, I wonder if Liam Cohen was Mike McDonald, would we be talking that much about Travis Hunter playing offense? Like if
because he's a defensive coach.
Yeah.
No, and for the right, I would like still just say you're my starting corner, and I'll use you on offense when I need you, depending on who we're playing. Not back and forth. You know what I mean? I just think he could be.
I don't want him
he changes your defense right away, in my opinion. And look, the rhetoric. You know what hurts? Not hurts, but keep in mind the rhetoric when he was drafted. He's going to change the game. He's the best corner. He's the best wideout. He's going to do all these things, and then he doesn't do all those things. So as a former player in the locker room, I could care less if he plays offense at all. All I want him to do is help my team win. And anybody in that locker room, look, of course, he's so dynamic with the ball in his hands. You give him some chances. I want to see it too. I even said, and I know no one likes it because of the risk, you got a long field, let him return a punt, man. He'll be Deion Sanders 2.0. Nobody will catch that kid. He'll be to the races, at least in my opinion.
But you worry about injury.
But you would worry about an injury there, and it would be interesting what they do with Parker in that situation.
Absolutely.
Because he can take it to the house as well. But look, the rhetoric was he's going to do all these things. So for me, I would have drafted him anyway, even if I was just going to play him at corner. I would have moved up in the draft. Why? Because he's the best player in the draft. You can't say he's not. So there should be no rhetoric of that, like against the Jags, although the national pundits will love to take their shots at us when it doesn't turn out the way we said or thought it was going to turn out. But at the end of the day, he's here to make our team better. And you, even from a 30,000-foot view, if you looked at it last year, even prior to the injury, even though he took off in that Rams game, you can clearly see our team needs him on defense. Number one, first and foremost. He makes that defense so much better. He gives that rush another half step. He does. Him and Buster together, throwing Jari and throwing Lewis, you got a nice quartet of DBs that can hold down the fort outside and inside. And then you got a superstar potentially.
And maybe Jabbar Muhammad.
And Travis. And Muhammad, absolutely.
Obviously, he doesn't come to the forefront of our minds unless we're watching practices
every day. He may earn his way into that lineup.
He certainly looked really good in practices that we've been to.
Well, yeah, and I think part of this too is what because James Gladstone made some very bold takes on that. So does he say no? I want him to be a part. Like we moved up, and I gave a lot of draft capital for him to impact both sides of the ball. How much say is in that? I don't really care about that part. We've talked about that on this show. I don't care about him being a number one wide receiver and a number one corner. I think you're past that. You just want a star player, and I think he can be that. But how much does that bleed into things of him maybe wanting to prove a point of we did this for a reason because he can do that? That's what we have to see, because you do feel like at moments last year they were trying that so much that it affected the early on games in a negative way.
But realistically, how many touches can you give them on offense with everybody else?
Yeah.
You know, think
especially
about it.
12 and 13 personnel.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, unless an injury happens.
Think about it. 5 to 10?
Yeah.
Well, you would do that anyway.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to sprinkle them in, it'd be like 5 or 10.
That same amount, yeah.
But only if it's working, because what did we hammer last year? The timing between Trevor Lawrence and his receivers.
Yep.
So when you're pulling a player to go play defense, you're disrupting, in my opinion, the potential timing. Maybe they'll get it worked out, and they've worked on it and off the away from the practice field and all that stuff. Who knows? Right now, Trevor's in Lake Tahoe, so he's been in Montana, now Lake Tahoe. He's going to play in that golf tournament tomorrow. But like, that's what I wonder too: is if you have to get that timing so perfect, are you going to have the same ability if the player is constantly being taken over to defense?
Maybe that's why he's spending time on offense.
And I certainly wondered about that.
Not that they're working on timing and chemistry, but knowing where to go, where to be.
Yeah.
You know,
or like, we know you can do the corner side. We need to get this timing and everything right offensively.
But yeah, I wonder, when's the last time Trevor Lawrence threw Travis Hunter a ball? We certainly didn't see it. That doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
We just didn't get to see it in the limited practices that we went to. All right, Tom's takeaways on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Hunting season in Northeast Florida is just around the corner, and Green Acres Sporting Goods has been serving Jacksonville hunters for over 55 years. And right now, you can lock in a summer deal on an AR-style 12-gauge shotgun for just $299. And while you're there, check out the largest archery pro shop in Northeast Florida and test shoot the newest bows by Hoyt and Matthews. Shop today at Green Acres Sporting Goods.
Yeah, I know how awful it is to get injured, but not like my friend Tom, who got rear-ended last year. Tom McMahon is here. Morgan & Morgan can help you. They're the largest personal injury law firm in the nation. 1,000 lawyers, 100 offices across the nation, and over $30 billion recovered. And guess what? They don't get a single penny unless you do. A proven track record with backup. Hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect, get paid. Dial Pound Law or check out forthepeople.com.
ET here for Encore Research. What if the next medical breakthrough started with you? Clinical research volunteers play a vital role in helping doctors better understand diseases and develop future treatments. This summer, discover how participating in a clinical research study can advance medical breakthroughs while empowering you to take an active role in your own healthcare journey. Are you ready to learn? Check them out at EncoreDocs.com. Together, we're building a healthier future for Jacksonville.
Summertime is here, and that means it's grilling season. Now, before you overpay at the big box stores, make a stop at Houston's Meat Company on Main Street in Jacksonville. For more than 50 years, Houston's has been Jacksonville's local butcher shop, serving up quality meats, incredible prices, and the kind of service you just can't find at the grocery chain. Steaks, burgers, chicken, ribs, whatever's on the grill this weekend, Houston's has you covered. Shop local, grill better. Make Houston's Meat Company part of your weekend tradition.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
I've spent 20 plus years around scoreboards, and here's what they don't tell you. Every number up there is somebody's story. So when I heard a number last week, I had to sit with it. Hacker here, Paige from Awaken 180 told me their clients just lost 1 million pounds. 1 million. That stopped me cold because I know exactly what my 120 was worth. Moving better, feeling better, down from over 300. Now multiply that feeling. My 120 is stacked in there with somebody's first 10. Somebody's knee that finally quit barking. Somebody stepping on a scale this morning and pumping their fist in an empty bathroom thanks to Awaken 180. That's not a stat. That's a whole stadium's worth of hometown wins. The scoreboard's still running. A doable program, a plan built specifically for you, coaching that adjusts as you go, and free support for life. 1 million pounds down and counting. The next win should be yours. Awaken 180weightloss.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Retired U.S. Navy Commander Chris Valdivia from American Roll-On Roll-Off Carrier. The hardest transition isn't deployment, it's coming home. Be part of the solution at ONU's Mission Possible Gala, October 17th at Sawgrass Marriott. For information and to register, go to onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Well, in 20 days, this song will be 100% accurate. Actually, less than that because they report before training camp begins. But yeah, Thin Lizzy, the boys are back in town. One of my favorites.
The boys are going to fight. You better let them.
That's right. Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, Jared Justice filling in for RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. By the way, I mentioned Trevor Lawrence plays in that golf tournament, the American Century Championship. It begins tomorrow. He tees off at 11:12 a.m. along with Baker Mayfield and Drew Brees.
That'll be fun.
I like the Baker-Trevor pairing.
yeah.
I don't think there's by any means any bad blood.
Oh, between them two, definitely.
I'm thinking some beers are getting shotgunned or something with that trio. At least with
Baker,
two of
for
them.
sure.
Yeah, Baker will be all over it.
Well, then Drew doesn't have to work anymore. Is he in? I think he's doing TV, right?
Yeah, I think
he's a
so.
color
That hardly counts.
commentator.
He can shock us sometimes.
Yeah, what's the deal?
Trevor definitely can.
Yeah,
His wife doesn't need a driver right now because
Yeah,
she's
she's
pregnant.
good to go.
All right.
True.
One comment from the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 904-641-1010. He says, nobody's really talking about the fact that Gladstone's kind of on the hot seat this year with regard to his draft picks. 2 drafts now, and who are the players that have made a difference? I don't think James Gladstone is on the hot seat whatsoever. And to your point earlier, Taylor, I think that's where Tony Baselli would step in if James Gladstone is trying to force Liam Cohen into something as far as any of the players, not just Travis Hunter, but just based off of where he drafted them. I would hope that Tony Baselli would step in and bridge that gap and say, Liam coaches, you make draft picks and you certainly do that. We all do that together.
Yeah.
But once the on-field stuff starts, you can't direct Liam Cohen into anything. At least that's how I would hope that happens, because we saw before Trent Baalke was, I think, still trying to pull strings with Doug Peterson and who he was going to play. But that's how I hope it would work. But what would you say, Tom, to the texter that says Gladstone's kind of on the hot
No, he's not on any hot seat at all. Look, but he has to be, critiqued, honestly and fairly. I mean, and by the way, it's not just draft. It's who you keep, who you let go.
How much you pay people?
Yeah. Your free agency, all that kind of stuff. So, as we know, look at the draft with Parker and Antonio and Brenton. When they didn't do much their first couple of years,
Right.
You're kind of like, okay, they're okay. They're not who they are today. That took a little bit. So I think you got to give that a little bit time. And look, the whole Balky thing, I think what he's shown, like at least the majority of his picks weren't bad, but that wasn't the problem. The problem was he was not a good positive force for the head coach to succeed. And he became this, no, I'm the guy. And then they clash. And then it was who's going to save their own ass.
Exactly.
You know, when the owner came out and said, oh, it's the best we've ever had, you're like, who's telling you that? Like, well, okay, now we kind of have an idea.
The person making the pick.
Who's making the picks, who did what you wanted him to do, right? Draft, develop, extend, right? He extended guys that maybe this regime wouldn't have. One they got rid of, and Tyson Campbell.
Yeah.
They extended him. That was a draft pick. Like,
You wonder about Walker Little.
Yeah, Walker Little and
Yeah.
things like that. So more to that story than just, oh, he missed on this or missed on that. And, some of the picks have turned out to be pretty okay when you look at it overall. So, no, there's no hot seat. But, look, I will, hold all three of their feet to the fire. If Devin Lloyd goes and has a monster career with Carolina or even couple years, and we don't replace him, and that's the thing. If we replace him, I'm happy. I want him to have a great career. I like Devin Lloyd. He's a good guy,
For sure.
at least from my encounters with him. But if we replace him, fine. I don't care. That's okay. You made the right call. But if you don't, and he goes off and kicks some ass and our guys are just okay, then, yeah, your feet are going to be held to fire. Same with ETN.
Yeah.
I mean, you let 13 touchdowns go, right or wrong, we don't know yet. We'll find out. Are the guys in your stable today, and maybe they add, never know with this regime, but the guys that they have right now, are they good enough to replace what ETN brought to the table? We don't know yet. Hopefully so. Hopefully, and if they do, happy for ETN. Go on, go forward. And we're happy that you found his replacement and you got a little younger and you got a little cheaper and you did a great job, because that's what it's all about, right? So it's not like just the talent, all that. It's fiscally keeping the organization healthy, and for the record, and they're not going to come out and say it, but I think you kind of know this offseason, they had to pay a lot of debt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's probably part of the reason they couldn't be as aggressive. They knew that, hey, last year we got more powder. Let's go after it. And then this next year, we're not going to. Let's just develop and bring in guys that can fill some roles and that type of thing. But at the end of the day, Tony, Liam, and James, and they would all agree, they are going to be judged on how this team performs at the end of the day. So
On the grass.
On the grass. We all love the grass. But if you do, then everything's great.
Yeah.
If it all works out great, you're winning games, you're going back to the playoffs, you're winning playoffs, everything's, on the rise. Yeah. All you can do is say, well, they did a great job. That at the end of the day, if that doesn't happen, then you got to start saying, well, you know what? That wasn't a good job. That wasn't a good decision to make. And then we go from there. But for now, today, there's no hot seat. But it is like there's also no golden goose parachute, like he's here forever either.
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, I don't think you
Golden
can put
goose
any
parachute. All I can think is the shoes.
Oh yeah, golden gooses. I don't think you could put any general manager in their second year on the hot seat, just because it does take time for the talent you bring in to develop. And
Unless
so
they
that's,
pick Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson.
yeah, but even that, I mean, I feel like we didn't, like, you judge him immediately, but then you look at some of the other things he did in draft. So it's not one draft pick that should ever decide anybody's future. That's part of it. But I do think it also takes time to develop and kind of figure some of these things out and fit their, how they fit into things. I think there's two sides of that. I think you can be critical of James Gladstone in certain areas and be like, I really don't love the way you did this. You could say that about the offensive line the last couple years when it came to last year, when some of these teams are making these huge splash moves and you really felt like you could have upgraded the offensive line immediately, and maybe you're not as impressed with that. You could talk about Greg Newsome, Tyson Campbell thing. That wasn't a ground. De'Ami Brown wasn't a hit. You can, but you have to wait to see the total outcome of that, and you don't get that out of 1 year when it comes to that. So I think you can be critical. You can say, I don't absolutely love James Gladstone so far in the small group, like the small sampling that we have of him, but I don't think that puts him on the hot seat yet, because you just won 13 football games, number one, and your ultimate goal is to win. So if you keep winning, then something's being done right.
And his players got hurt. Some of the ones he drafted, Travis Hunter, we already talked about. Wyatt Milam got hurt. Caleb Ransaw got hurt.
And every team deals with that. And so that's what every when you look around the league and you're like, there's a lot of teams dealing with injuries that still, can win football games and get through. The Niners are the perfect example of this. They've stayed hurt the last 4 years and they constantly win. happen. They've gotten the quarterback completely wrong, still figured it out at the end. And so you want to see that. You want to see even when things go wrong, you're still able to win. You're still able to be consistent, and you don't have enough sample to say that's going to happen here or will happen here. So you just have to wait. It's a waiting game, and unfortunately, people want like instant results and instant answers nowadays, and that's just not how the NFL works in general.
Well, the answer will be their one-loss record, and right now they're 13-5.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
And that's why at the end of the year,
you go by.
at the end of the year, you have a better sample. Like one sample size, we've won seasons before, and you don't win the next season. So this season, to me, is the one that is more of an answer than last year.
You know, and you could go across the league with that, right?
For sure.
You don't like injuries. Like Trey Hendrickson, I would have taken him in a heartbeat. He would have upgraded us right away. Does he stay healthy the whole year? Now, that could go for anybody, of course, but he has been injured in the past. He's had the oblique injury. He's had a hip injury. You know, what if that happens to him? And then you're like, I can't even use him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then it wasn't that great of a move. Now, that's one thing, but that's part of it.
Yeah.
You know, with the health of people. So, you know, if you can stay healthy, then and it's productive, you know, or maybe he isn't as productive. Who knows? You don't know till you get him on the
Two
grass.
huge examples last year, the Colts with Sauce Gardner and the Packers with Micah Parsons.
Yeah,
Give a lot of
good
draft
call.
capital, get
Good
those
call.
guys immediately, and they were supposed to be instant game changers for what they needed in that moment. Both get hurt, and you don't even get to see how that works. Is that on the general manager? No, the general manager made a good splash move of really good football players, and it didn't end up working out. So sometimes you just have to be a little bit more patient. And I know it's hard. Believe me, you want to win, and you want answers, and you want to know if this is going to be a continuous thing, but I just don't think you can answer that yet.
Yeah, well, look at Trev.
Yeah.
And who knows what would have been different if Liam was his coach from the get-go. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, but that he wasn't.
Yeah.
And then you know, I mean, look, year 4, there was a lot of like, get rid of, like, we've got to start looking for a new quarterback. You know, he looks good at times, but he's not consistent enough. He's not doing this. He's not doing that.
And
then,
who knows if Trevor could have taken the harsh criticism that we believe, the hard coaching also,
Right
not
away.
criticism.
Yeah.
But right when he came into the league,
Correct.
right? Like I have a picture still on my phone of Urban Meyers. They're sitting talking to Trevor Lawrence, and they both have like smiles on their faces. This is before practices. They're just stretching, you know, and everything. And it's like, that feels like a lifetime ago.
It really
I'm
does.
sure if you talk to Trevor too. But yeah, to have that coach, Doug Peterson, I think was a lot easier, like we talked about the other day. And so maybe Liam and Trevor would have blossomed instantaneously. But it's also possible that Trevor would have been like, whoa, you know, like I just came from Clemson and Dabo Swinney, and it wasn't like that when I was in college. All right, let's find out what Tom is thinking.
Now, Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com. Or dial pound law. That's all.
Just one of the things you're thinking.
I almost forgot.
I forgot what I was thinking.
All right, my take today on this beautiful Thursday afternoon is actually a little walk down memory lane. And by the way, that music, Boys Are Back in Town, reminded me of just before the show, as I had Dave Weidel and his son Mark on the horse's mouth.
Nice.
And they sat across from me at the bar, and I asked David, I said, so Dave, I never asked you this before. You know, Dave and I used to have a radio show together. We've known, you know, we've been buddies for a long time. I said, when did you start thinking about saying to the crowd when we came back from Denver that you were going to use Al Michaels' Do You Believe in Miracles, right? Because that became like a thing back then. It was almost like It's Always the Jags, but with no social media, of course, nothing going on. Never really went anywhere except locally. Like, do you believe, like people, if you were there that night or saw the coverage, it was 2:30 in the morning. We all know the story. Like there's 40,000 people or 30,000, whatever, in the stands. And for the record, Dave goes, you know, Michael Hughes, he goes, if you don't remember, I got hurt that game, and Michael Cheever took over for me, which he did a great job. He goes, but when we were coming home, I didn't really feel like I did that much. So Michael Hughes, who was president of team operations, who helped build this team, he goes up to Dave. He's like, Dave, you know, this is what's happening, you know, over down or in Jacksonville when we get home. Like, you need to address this crowd. He's like, I don't know, man. I didn't really play. He's like, no, Dave, you got to be the guy. You're the one that's got. And I never heard this story.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
crazy.
oh, that's a
You've never
pretty
heard
cool
it.
story.
That
And
is cool.
he's like, yeah. So I started thinking. I was like, I'm going to use Al Michaels. Do you believe in miracles? And that's when it came through. And he went out there and did it. And it was a big hit. And it was just pretty cool
Which at that
to
time,
go through.
that was 1980, right? The Do You Believe in Miracles?
Yes, 1980,
Yes.
correct.
So that would have been just like 15 years.
16,
yeah,
16, 17 years
it's
ago.
crazy now,
Yeah.
like how far removed
Seems
we are
so
from
long, yeah.
1980.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, back then that would have only been 15
Fif-
years.
yeah,
16 years
roughly.
removed.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
so that's a super cool story.
Yeah, it was cool. It was
I
good
can't
to go
believe
down.
you've never heard that.
Go down memory lane with my big fella, my big friend David Wydell. And that's my take, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan for the people.com. Yeah, I never knew the build up to. I knew I was there when he said it. I was like, oh, that was a cool thing to say. Like, pretty cool, you know. Like, I didn't know it was gonna like stick around for a little
Well,
bit.
the big underdog story, obviously, with the United States and Russia.
Yeah.
with the Jags.
I was on the phone with the manager from Lynch. He's actually like, hey, is it cool if we come? Hey, he's like, yeah, bring him on.
Now that story
That
I've
was
heard.
the best story. Yeah, that was
All
a
right,
good one.
Sounds like I would have wanted to be at Lynch.
Absolutely. All right, more to do on the other side. You're listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
I wanted to be a senator.
I wanted to be a florist. International House Pancake.
1010XL, where sports radio dreams come true.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
Do you have clicking, popping, swelling, or pain in your knee or shoulder? This can be due to arthritic changes in your joints. Over time, you have wear and tear of your cartilage. I am Dr. George Bari, and here at Bari Orthopedics, we have numerous ways to treat your arthritis, such as regenerative medicine, including PRP and joint replacements with CT guidance for accuracy down to the millimeter. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, call us for an appointment today or log on to BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I can tell you as Walk-Off Charities has grown, we now manage a large athletic facility with numerous fields, including the Bregan Baseball Complex. To get around, we needed a good, reliable golf cart. I went straight to Dynamic Drives and Design in Jack's Peak. I met with Travis, told him exactly what our needs were. Would you believe before you knew it, the perfect cart was delivered to us at an incredible price? If you need a golf cart, Travis and his team are the go-to. Learn more about them at dynamicdrivesdesign.com.
Hey, I'll be home in about 10 minutes. Actually, make it 8.
Hey, Mom. Yep, I'm walking home now. Mom, I'm trying to cross, but I don't think this driver sees me. No, they're driving too fast. Mom!
Speeding catches up with you. Early, on time, a little late, just get there safely. A message from the Florida Department of Transportation's Target Zero initiative.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home at VyStar Ballpark this week and weekend. Join them tonight for Coors Light Thirsty Thursday. They'll light up the night sky with a post-game fireworks show on Friday, plus a Christmas in July weekend with a Nutcracker giveaway on Saturday and a Santa hat giveaway on Sunday at 105 as part of Baptist Health Sunday Family Fun Day. Get your tickets now at jackshrimp.com.
Today's vehicles are smarter than ever, but that also means they need more precision than ever. Features like lane assist, collision warning, and adaptive cruise control all rely on cameras, sensors, part of what's called ADAS. And if those systems are even slightly off, they might not work correctly. That's why, after certain repairs, your vehicle will need ADAS calibration. At G&H Tires and Service, they have the ADAS system, so your vehicle's safety features work the way they're supposed to. Don't guess with your safety. G&H Tires and Service. Precision that protects. Instant Keys is turning 25. A quarter century of saving the day when your keys mysteriously vanish. Seriously, it was just in my pocket. Or when that remote fob decides to quit working.
The dealership is such a hassle.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, house keys, transponders, re-keys, and even high-tech smart locks. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you for honest, professional locksmith service. Use Instant Keys.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Celebrate America's birthday all this month with a dozen roses from Kuhn Flowers, only $49.95. Buy any color or color combination. A dozen roses, just $49.95 at Kuhn Flowers this month. KuhnFlowers.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's team time, Farah doesn't flinch.
This is Corey Kent along with Coetzel, a little collaboration called Rocky Mountain Low. Corey Kent is coming to downtown Jacksonville, I want to say in November of this year. So if you're a Corey Kent fan, make sure you get some tickets to go see.
I'm feeling a theme out of you.
Are you? I didn't have a theme, so I'd love
All
to hear
these
the
artists
theme.
will be playing in the Jacksonville greater
I don't
area.
think Thin Lizzy is going to be coming.
Oh, you called Thin
anytime soon.
Lizzy?
Yes.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right. It was every
Yeah, every
bumper,
song is mine.
not just the country.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Remember, I
all
told
of
you it's
them on
not
my
The
gonna
two
be
countries, though. Yeah, I think
The
did
two
you say that?
countries,
Okay.
yes. One is coming next week to town, and one
Okay, the
is coming
theme
in
is with
November.
cunt. No.
Yeah. It's not, like I said,
Not
I
a
didn't
theme,
have
just
a theme.
songs she wants to hear.
That's right.
I've done too many music themes in my radio career. I used to do them for Jaguars Today, way back when I was their
We
producer.
did them for a little while on Helmets and,
And we
Heels.
did,
We would
yes.
do themes.
Yeah. So yeah,
Mhm.
this is just random.
And it was during bad seasons, and we'd be like, we get a song that reminds you of Sunday, and we'd be like, I don't know.
Taking back
Sunday,
Friday.
bloody Sunday.
I want to take Sundays back from this team. All right, let's hear Taylor's Tangent.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
Well, we got some interesting stuff coming out of the hockey world in the NHL as the Carolina Hurricanes, who just won the Stanley Cup, posted a picture saying forever etched in history with a picture of the Stanley Cup and all the names etched into that. The interesting part of it is the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, who also is the owner of the Portland Trail Blazers, put his name, in addition to his wife and 5 kids, above every single player, every coach, every staff member. He also left other players. Like there was one of the guys that played for the Carolina Hurricanes, Joel Nystrom, who played 38 games for them this year, was not even on the Stanley Cup that they won. So he's getting a lot of criticism. This goes beyond that. He's been criticized for a lot of things in the past when it comes to just being kind of like a cheapskate at certain points. And there was one period of time where they said he's got backlash over the refusal to travel two-way players for playoff games, cancellation of free fan T-shirts during like playoffs and stuff like that. Like a lot of teams will give out a certain amount, first 1,000 people or whatever.
Yeah.
He wanted to cancel that to save money. Other times of trying to hire certain coaches and both for the Hurricanes and for the Trailblazers, trying to hire coaches for like way less than other coaches had been being paid for that exact role, and those coaches would come out and be like, he was trying to pay me only this amount for it. So he's been criticized in the past for a lot of other things. So there's a lot of people who are like, this is not surprising whatsoever, but it's just wild to think that you have players that are not on there, scouts that are not on there. He put like certain members, like there's like some of the physical trainers and like personal trainers and stuff. There's like 2 on there and then left the woman one out. And it was just like weird stuff he did. But yeah, his 7-year-old kid's on the Stanley Cup, but not player who's actually part of winning the Stanley Cup this year.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And every time I hear cheapskate owner, and there's certain franchises we always refer to as that, whether it's the Bengals and the NFL or the Pirates, whatever. You just think how lucky we are to have our owner.
Oh,
Has he always made the
Oh.
right decisions? No, but is
Absolutely.
the opposite of a cheapskate.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And it's not, there's been other Stanley Cups in the past and owners who have put like them and their wife on it or something like that. But there hasn't been a circumstance where the first 3 lines of the Stanley Cup are all his family, and you don't even get to a single player or coach until the 4th line of it. It's just
it was all
a little
him
wild.
and the
Yeah,
kids.
he did
They
it. Like
did
he
it,
won the
man.
cup.
Yeah, I
last
would think
time.
it would just say owner and family.
Family,
is how it
or
should
like
be.
the Dundon family. Like just do that.
But the female athletic trainer that's not on
Weird
it,
stuff.
That's a
I
weird
would
stuff.
leave the Hurricanes and go to another team is what I would do.
Yeah.
That's for dang sure. Well, you don't have to leave to get lunch. You can just be the right caller.
That's right. Let's go. Free lunch to Chick-fil-A. Give us a call at 641-1010. Let's say caller number 4. You get free lunch for 2 to Chick-fil-A. Make sure you grab that peach milkshake too. It's here for just the summertime, made with real peaches and that ice stream. Their machines are never broken at Chick-fil-A. So make sure you swing by there and get that, but also get free lunch and give us a call right now.
And you can write your whole family's name on the peach milkshake if you would like.
Thank you to everybody.
All right. More giveaways actually on the other side in Lauren's Lane. Don't go anywhere. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Hey, Tommy Mack here for Armstrong Fence. Hey, they've been around for a long time, over 30 years here on the First Coast. Hey, don't forget hurricane season is here. Don't wait for that first storm warning. Your fence is your first line of defense. Loose boards, weak posts, or damage can turn into big problems in those high winds. Armstrong Fence Company, they handle repairs and build from stadiums right to your backyard. Get a pre-storm fence check today. Call Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
It's high-speed chaos.
They made contact!
Sunday at Echo Park Speedway.
Right into it! They crossed the line, and guess who wins the race?
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. From the station with the most horsepower, 1010XL.
Hacker here for Cornerstone Interior Solutions. If your AC is working overtime every summer, your insulation may be the problem. Homeowners and builders across Northeast Florida are calling Cornerstone to upgrade to spray foam insulation. It seals homes, crawl spaces, garages, blocking in cool air and blocking out heat. So your home stays cooler, your system runs easier, and your energy bills stay under control. Don't wait for peak heat. Visit CornerstoneInteriorSolutions.com.
I've owned a home long enough to know one thing. The little problems you ignore almost always become the expensive ones. That small plumbing leak, the septic tank you've been meaning to pump, the air conditioner that's making a funny noise. July is the perfect time to take care of it. So right now, save $250 on a whole home re-pipe or redrain, $50 on any septic service, and $500 on a new AC system from Duck Duck Rooter. Honest service, upfront pricing, no surprises. When you're stuck, call Duck Duck Rooter, 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
When he speaks, QBs listen. If you like quarterback talk, get an earful with a quarterback whisperer, Denny Thompson. He shares his insights Friday mornings on The Drill, tuned up by Encore Research Group and George Moore Chevrolet on 1010XL.
Tailgaters parking is approaching sellout for this upcoming season. Permanent restrooms, all-day security, and on-site restaurant pavilion. Due to stadium construction, your previous parking may be gone. Log on to tailgatersparking.com today.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Jacksonville, this is your club. Sporting Jacks is proudly representing the First Coast in the USL Championship, bringing professional soccer and unforgettable match day experience to Hodges Stadium. Feel the energy of professional soccer as Sporting Jacks continues to build something special on the First Coast. Join us as Sporting Jacks continues its historic inaugural season. Get tickets today at sportingjacks.com or call 904-863-KICK. Pro Soccer, Pro Jacks.
I used to feel anxious every time I needed a dentist. Long waits, surprise bills, it was exhausting, especially as a busy mom. After searching for a dentist I can trust, I found Harbor Dental Care. They got me in right away, treated me with kindness, and helped me set up a payment plan that fit my family's budget. If you want a dental home you can trust, book your visit at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Looking for a real career with great pay and full benefits? Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. As a growing, family-owned company that cares about its employees, they're hiring lawn technicians in the Jacksonville area. No experience required. This is a salaried position with top industry pay. Full benefits, a 401k match, and paid training. Apply today at JulingtonCreekPestControl.com. Julington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Equal Opportunity Employer. Hurricane season is here, and now is the time to make sure your property is ready. Weak, damaged, or overgrown trees can become a serious hazard when storms move in. Trust the experts at Lucas Tree Service with over 45 years of experience for professional tree trimming, removal, and storm preparation. Don't wait until a storm is on its way. Schedule your tree assessment today at lucastreeservice.com.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise and towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
I'm Jared Justice with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Baker Glass. Rook Olororo has been selected as the Jags breakout candidate by ESPN's Ben Solak. Former Gator coach Urban Meyer has named John Summerall as one of his 5 coaches to watch this season. The Orlando Magic Summer League starts tonight at 7:30 against the Charlotte Hornets on Amazon Prime. It's 98 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Sadly, I can confirm this artist will not be coming to Jacksonville to tour. The one Jimi Hendrix, we lost him way too young.
That's
one of the
right.
best guitarists of all time. In case you're just joining us, I got to pick the music all day today. Next week, Taylor on Thursday. Taylor will get to select the music, and the following
Prepare
Thursday,
yourselves.
Yes, prepare yourselves for some much harder rock
right.
than I will be selecting. We just gave away some Chick-fil-A. Now let's give away a family 4-pack of tickets to go see Men's Sporting Jacks versus Pittsburgh Riverhounds next Wednesday at 7:30 at Hodges Stadium. Be caller number 3-641-1010. Call number 3-641-1010. Time now to swerve into Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
Doing a great job in there, Jared Justice filling in for RJ Saunders. All right, guys, I read this story today and I absolutely had to share. So this guy named Jaden Todd is a Florida State football player. He's a lineman, and you'll know that in a second because he's 6'6", like 315 pounds. So he was out with some other Florida State players, and they were in the Homosassa River in Florida. And he grew up, Jaden Todd grew up in rural Georgia. So grew up fishing and boating and all the things and swimming. So they happen upon a group of people that are screaming frantically. One of the members of their boat had gone in the water, was wearing a life jacket, but had gone in the water, and they think that person was having a heart attack. And they're having a very difficult time getting this man back into the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So as Jaden Todd, the Florida State player's boat is coming near them, he immediately doesn't even wait for the boat to stop, jumps in, and then easily is able to lift this heavy man that the friends cannot lift.
Mm-hmm.
The women are screaming to call 911. The other guys, the other Florida State players, are able to find nearby law enforcement that just happened to be in that area. And so that boat was able to come over. So Jaden Todd lifts him in the boat. They're able to flip him over. And then immediately some first responders come over and they're able to then help him with an AED because they realized that it was a heart incident.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If they hadn't acted that quickly, everyone believes that this man wouldn't have lived. But because it was within like 20 minutes of when Jaden Todd and his Florida State players happen upon, and then the EMTs get there and AED, and then are able to get him to the hospital. It all happened super quickly.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give a shout out to one Jaden Todd, and the other players, the other Florida State players were Blake Nicholson, AJ Cottrell, and Caleb Lavallee. So give them a shout out too. But yeah,
Good
just
job.
to
That's
be
awesome.
able to react that quickly,
Yeah.
and
Heck
obviously
yeah.
not being trained as a first responder.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the other cool part is once the story got out, newspaper people reached out. I say newspaper, like back in the day, but media people reached out to Florida State, and Jaden hadn't even told the coaches about the
Mhm.
incident
that
and like to pat himself on the back or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Right.
Oh.
Wow.
So I thought that was super
Cool
cool. The
story.
guy
Yeah,
did
heck yeah.
survive. Yeah. And,
Good, he survived.
he did survive.
Beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. So I would imagine that also the life jackets came in super handy, and the police that showed up too were complimenting the other boat, even though the guy was in distress, but that they all had flotation devices.
Oh, that's
So
good, yeah.
make sure to
Now imagine
if you
getting
go-
a ticket after that too.
Yeah.
For not wearing
Oh,
your
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
If you go on a boat, make sure there is a life jacket for every
For
single
everybody.
adult
Person,
and
yeah.
every single child.
Yeah. That's
Make
right.
sure. Not that I'm out here trying to be the Coast Guard by any means,
Yeah.
but
No, yeah.
one
It
of
is
these
important,
stories
though.
does go to
Yeah.
show you that.
Heck yeah.
All right, I want to get it to, speaking of college football, DJ Lagway.
Mhm.
Matt Hayes went out to Waco, Texas recently, interviewed DJ Lagway. We talked all about that on this show. Matt Matt did a great job with the article for USA Today Sports. And then at Big 12 Media Days that's happening this week, Dave Aranda, the head coach at Baylor, basically added on to what DJ said when DJ said he was depressed in Gainesville, and that's what he told Matt. And then Dave Aranda, the head coach at Baylor, said that he was basically in a straitjacket, and now he has a lot more freedom at Baylor. So I think the issue that most people are having with this story is you have people like Tim Tebow and Joakim Noah that were able to go to classes, and they obviously had far more fame. I mean, Thomas Houck right now, Alex Condon, they could all go to classes and not have an issue, but DJ Lagway was the only one to have some sort of issue. That's where I think people are finding a little bit of like incredulousness at the story.
Is that what he's talking about in this one with the straitjacket?
Yeah.
Oh, I was picturing it totally different. Like
Okay.
in my head, I thought he meant like
On
he
the
wasn't.
field?
Yeah, he wasn't able to be himself on the field. Like they weren't letting him play the DJ Lagway game, like we've said with Trevor, like the let it rip thing last year. That's what I thought he meant
So
by
the
the
quote
comment.
was, he's very driven. There's a huge chip on his shoulder. I could see on the recruiting trip, I could see someone that just wanted to be free. He was in a straitjacket, maybe someone that is just all boxed in and boxed up and can't be free and express himself.
Yeah.
So I'm sure
I was
part
thinking
of it
about
is
the
on
football
field.
side of things for me. Like,
Gotcha.
because he's talking about the recruiting side. So in my head, I immediately went to, like, he wasn't able to just fully be DJ Lagway with the way that Billy Napier was running the offense, is how I pictured it, which I could picture being right.
Yeah, I'm of the belief that especially head coaches at major programs, they know everything that's going on with their kids. They should know everything that's going on. I mean, they've got enough resources to follow them around, to check in with their RAs, figure out if they're getting in trouble, if they're going to class. And for DJ Lagway to not be able to leave his room, it just smells like weird. Like, how did the head coach allow that? Like, we're mad at him for not giving a play call. I'm more mad that what are you talking about? Like, that kid couldn't go to class. Like, you find a way for him to go to class. If he really wants to go to class, you get him security, get him a golf cart, whatever. Take him to class. I don't give a crap what you got to do if he feels that boxed in. So I don't know. Somewhere the truth is in there somewhere, but it just seems a little. I mean, is Napier that far removed? You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't go help your starting QB.
Well, and he was
You know what I
injured,
mean?
which that obviously
I
played
know,
a
but
part of it.
still,
Yeah,
still,
on
you're
the field,
5-star. You
sure.
know,
On the field, Billy Napier didn't do a lot of things right, as we well know. And trust me, people that are over us talking about Billy Napier, after this week, I feel like we'll move on. We'll talk more about John Sumrall and Mike Norvell and Mario Cristobal and all that stuff. But DJ, I think Gator fans wanted him to run the ball more.
Yeah.
You are a skilled quarterback, and so take off at times.
Yeah.
And it felt more like Billy Napier wanted him to run and DJ Lagway wouldn't run. But yes, maybe
that's what I'm like. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe Lagway wanted to, and Napier was like, I don't want my offense to run that way. And so that's the first, when I heard that word, because that's just what I was picturing in my head. And maybe I'm wrong. It just felt to me he was more so saying like he felt caged in as a player and like couldn't be his full self and how he wanted to play football. And we'll see this year, what DJ Lagway does at the next level, because I do think that we talk about it a lot in the NFL, how we've seen quarterbacks' development being stunted at certain places, a Baker Mayfield, a Sam Darnold, then all of a sudden you go to the right spot. If DJ Lagway has a similar trajectory this year, you start to see some of the things that you thought DJ Lagway could do, then a lot of that is going to come back on Billy Napier and his staff and how they didn't develop and use him properly. But we're not going to know any of that until this year, and you see him at Baylor and what he can do there.
All right, listen, I've gone on record. I didn't go to a lot of classes at Boston College. Right? I didn't like going to class. It had nothing to do with the people or that I couldn't go to class. I just didn't really like going to class, and I was intimidated in class. But you know what made me go to class? A bunch of good-looking girls that were in my class. Are you kidding me? So I got to imagine in Florida, there's a lot of good-looking girls. Like
I don't think you have to go to class for the good-looking girls at Florida.
Well, no, they're everywhere, right? But at least they're confined, and you have a chance to talk to them, inside a classroom. You know what I mean? They're not open in the open water. Trap them in a room, give them a chance. Not the open water, But I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. But so to me, like, why wouldn't you're not going to class? That's just, I don't know. There's something fishy about the whole thing.
There's also online classes so accessible now. So
and that's how he took all of his.
And that's what I was about to say. I think some people, and maybe it is a combination of, to your point, it is intimidating sometimes when you're losing football games. So imagine that in the world of like you're not winning and you're not playing well and you're injured and it's like all of these things going wrong, and then all of a sudden you're feeling uncomfortable in these places and you're like, I'm just not gonna deal with with any of this. I need a fresh start. And that happens.
And you
that
can get
happens in people's world.
overwhelmed. But you have millions of dollars that you've never had before.
Yeah.
Everyone has these high expectations of you.
Yeah.
You're the name that everyone's talking about, and you're supposed to save your coach's job. And obviously that didn't end up happening. But,
Right.
by the way, just hand the ball off to Jaden Ball.
Yeah.
50 times a game, you'll be better off.
Out of all the superstars that have gone through Florida, he's the one that's in a straitjacket.
Right. That's what I'm
buy
saying.
that.
I disagree with that part of things. And I was on campus with superstars, right? And everyone left them alone because eventually when you're in the same class with somebody every single
become
day,
a person.
They're just another.
I just think he was talking about football. Straight jacket.
Yeah.
That's what I think he was talking about.
And I guess because I was going back to how he said he was depressed and he couldn't go to class, that's also what I heard.
We'll
But
find
I'm
out
sure both.
if they fixed them. Good for him if they do.
One other thing in Lauren's lane, the Rays last night during the broadcast, Ken Babby joined Dwayne Statz and Brian Anderson, and they unveiled, as I'm sure everyone has seen by now, the new Rays ballpark that will be opening in 2029. Yeah, the cool part, translucent roof.
Yeah,
so it will
very
have a
cool.
roof, but you're able to see outside,
The sky.
which I love.
Love that too.
And then they'll have, this is the first ever of these, a retractable batter's eye. So I'm guessing the reason for that is so that when they have a concert or anything else, they can have that batter's eye, completely get lowered, which I think is cool. And it's going to be around 30,000 capacity, 30,000 person capacity.
It's a big fish tank with some stingrays.
They're gonna make the aquariums larger. The video boards are gonna be larger. And I was kind of like, this reminds me of some of the things that the Jags did with the stadiums.
Did they have to put a Rays Cubs 7-1 score on their renderings? Because that's what I saw.
I didn't even notice that. I was more looking to see if there was
that was kind of rude.
a
We didn't have to do
sponsor
that.
because of how we've seen Stadium of the Future and there's not a sponsor attached.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking at. But yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting.
Very
All right.
cool.
More to do on the other side. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, 10 to Next on 92.5 FM.
Morgan & Morgan's the largest personal injury law firm in the land because all they do is win. They win, they win, they win. So if you get hurt out there, you check out Morgan & Morgan, the largest in the land. $30 billion recovered for over 500,000 clients, 1,100 plus lawyers. And guess what? They don't get a single dime unless you do. A proven track record with backup. That's hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect. Get paid. Don't dial pound law on your cell or check out forthepeople.com.
This World Cup soccer update is laced up by Valvoline Instant Oil Changes and Houston's Meats.
Westwood One Sports presents this World Soccer Update, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. We're an hour away from the first quarterfinal match, France and Morocco in Boston, a rematch of the 2022 semis, won by France 2-0. Moroccan winger Brahim Diaz, who was not part of that team, says they're confident on the big stage.
Yeah, we have experience also. We played big games already. Of course, it will be an experience game, but I trust my team. If you see our lineup, if you see the player who come from the bench, or if you see the staff, the coach, everything, I think we have experience enough to show tomorrow that we can win.
That was Diaz from his press conference yesterday, which was briefly interrupted by two reporters who got into a fight. All Diaz could do was stop mid-answer and smile. And then when it was over, he understandably forgot the initial question. With this World Soccer Update, I'm Brad Heller, Westwood One Sports.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Need to sell your house fast? Whether you're facing foreclosure, stuck with bad tenants, or just ready for a fresh start, House Buyer Network can help. We buy homes as is for cash. No fees, no commissions, no repairs. Get a fair cash offer in just 24 hours and close in as little as 7 days. Call 833-719-5877 now for your free no-obligation offer. That's 833-719-5877. House Buyer Network. Fast cash, no hassle.
Offers are typically below market value in exchange for speed and convenience. Call for details.
Pickin here. See clearly with the Eye Associates and trusted optometrists Zachary Boskool and Alice LaFlamme. From comprehensive eye exams, dry eye care, glaucoma management, diabetic eye care, and more, Dr. Boskool and Dr. LaFlamme are dedicated to protecting your vision. Immediate availability at all 5 Jacksonville locations. Schedule today with Dr. Boskool and Dr. LaFlamme by calling the Eye Associates, formerly Bow 9 Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
When the world turns its attention to the beautiful game, the most passionate fans know the best seat in the house isn't always in the stadium. Modelo celebrates football and the world of nations playing for the cup. 48 teams, 104 games. Wherever you choose to watch, make it the best seat in the house with a Modelo Especial in hand. It's time to play for the World Cup. Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 1:35 for the latest in sports injuries from all the big names in the game. Who's MIA, who's coming back? Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 1:35 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
Hey gang, Prosser here again for my friends Chad and Sandy at Chad and Sandy Realty. To maximize price on your home, you need more than a sign in the yard. You need a proven expert with an aggressive marketing plan. That's why more homeowners are turning to Chad and Sandy Realty. Chad and Sandy's Market Max system is a proven plan. It's going to get your home sold fast for maximum price. Need to sell now? Chad and Sandy have instant offers. Fast, easy, stress-free. But this is bottom line. Using their proprietary Market Max system, Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required repairs, pick your move date, no long-term contracts. Just listen to Eric and Jason, brothers in Villa San Jose. After losing our parents, my brother and I were left with a family home to sell. After 196 days on the market with another agent, it just sat there. We heard Chad and Sandy on the radio, gave them a call, got full asking price less than 27 days. So call the local agents who guarantee to sell your homes. Call Chad and Sandy today at 414-6200 or chadandsandy.com.
I'm local attorney Rick Alexander. In my 30 years practicing law, I've learned you never want to choose money over health. It's always a bad deal. Unfortunately, when someone screws up and you get hurt, that choice is gone. Your only choice is whether you face the future with a lawyer or without one. If you're hurt because somebody screwed up, call me at the practice. The Alexander Law Practice, 904-460-600 or alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Allman Brothers Band, one of my all-time favorites. I love Southern rock. Probably being from Jacksonville doesn't help. But yeah, I got to pick the music today. Next week will be Taylor on Thursday, and then the following Thursday, Tom gets to pick from the text line Design My Lifetime Enclosures. I hope Taylor picks something good like Slipknot or Killswitch Engage.
I do like
All
Killswitch.
That Remains.
Killswitch, yes. Slipknot is not up my alley, but Killswitch and All That Remains I do like.
Okay. So there we have it.
Nice. Original singer Killswitch, though.
Okay. Stay tuned next Thursday when Taylor gets to pick the music, and we'll see what she goes with. She's going to throw in something that's not hard rock, though, so expect like a Whitney Houston or like
Justin Bieber.
The Biebs.
Yeah, the Fray, because I get to see them soon.
Yep, the Fray, yeah. Expect it's going to be eclectic, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Maybe Wake Me Up Before You Go.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't wake me up before you
Don't
get
wake me up. I actually like my sleep. Thank you.
All right, another one from the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 904-641-1010. We love y'all's positive feedback. Lauren is worse than the national media with her comment about Trayvon. If you think drafting Trayvon over Hutchinson is a fireable offense, then you shouldn't have the job that you do. I get it with the national media. They don't even watch our games, so they just go off the sack numbers. I expect better from our hometown media. I shouldn't, but I do. Y'all are terrible. By the way, Trayvon is spelled Travon, not Trevon, but that's neither here nor there. The reason we were talking about it is I threw in the joke today because we went into a deep dive yesterday on Aiden Hutchinson versus Trayvon Walker and how Trent Baalke should have clearly seen that the projection of success was going to be what Aiden Hutchinson did in college at Michigan versus what Trayvon Walker was doing at Georgia. Trayvon Walker, we love him. He's fantastic against the run. He's had double-digit sack years. We wouldn't trade him for a lot of other edge rushers.
Aiden Hutchinson, we might.
There's a couple you would, and that's okay.
And that's
it's okay.
We wouldn't trade him for most, I'll say. But there are a lot that
No doubt.
are really good.
And that's what we're not bashing Trayvon. Like you just said, I like Trayvon, but there's certain players where you're like, I really love this player, but there's a number 1, number 2 top tier player. Just look at these numbers really quick. And they were obviously drafted in the same year because Trayvon was drafted right before Aiden Hutchinson. But so Aiden Hutchinson, because he also had that really bad injury. So that's also take into account that what he did coming back from that injury, that a lot of people were like, I don't know if he's going to be able to be 100% after this injury. 56 games for Aiden Hutchinson through his career so far and 63 for Trayvon Walker. So 7 more games. 43 sacks for Aiden Hutchinson, 27.5 for Trayvon Walker. 44 tackles for loss for Aiden Hutchinson, 36 for Trayvon Walker. 100 QB hits for Aiden Hutchinson, 57 for Trayvon Walker. 5 interceptions for Aiden Hutchinson, 1 for Trayvon Walker. 13 passes defended for Aiden Hutchinson, 7 for Trayvon Walker. 5 fumble recoveries for Aiden Hutchinson, 2 for Trayvon Walker. 8 forced fumbles and 8 for Aiden and 3 for Trayvon. There's just no way. And by the way, their run defense grade the last year and a half is almost identical too. When you look at those two numbers, that was one of the biggest criticisms of Aiden in the beginning of his career, but it's something that must have been in their off seasons. Like, we know you can rush the passer. Let's get this run defense on track. And so it's gotten a lot better. I love Trayvon, but Aiden Hutchinson is one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, hands down. They're not having conversations in Detroit right now. Like, what do you need from Aiden to make sure that he's worth his contract? That's not even a thought. And in Detroit, he's already proven that he is one of the best pass rushers.
I mean, look, you can love your guy like we do, and they do. You know, they love Trayvon Walker on their team, but that doesn't mean that somebody else isn't better than them at their position. I mean, you could go across the board with a lot of guys and say, you made a good point. I love Parker Washington, but I would love Amon St. Brown a lot more, right? A little bit more, whatever. Right? You'd like him more. I get it. But that doesn't take away from Trayvon. Look, Trayvon, he is not a natural pass rusher. He never has been. Aiden is. He was natural at Michigan. He's natural in the NFL. He's gotten even better. To be honest with you, when he first started, I thought that spin move was going to get him knocked out. Granted, it hurt the leg on the one, but just because if you wait and you time it right, you should be able to get him. But it didn't happen. The guy is really, really good at disrupting the backfield. And by the way, Trayvon's good at it too. But Aiden Hutchinson's better at it. It's not a fireable offense, but to say that Trent Baalke didn't miss on that's
just
wrong.
Because of arm length.
That's
wrong.
The
only
reason it's
he
a
didn't
wrong
draft
thing.
Aiden. Right.
Aiden Hutchinson's had a better career. He's a better football player, and he should have been taken number 1 overall in that draft.
But hopefully Trayvon gets back to double-digit sacks, and we would love more than the 10 or 10.5.
Yeah.
We would love for him to get 15 and be better than Aiden Hutchinson this upcoming season, or farther down the career moving forward.
Okay, we love Trevor. Would you go with another quarterback if you could?
Yeah, there's 5 or 6 that most people probably
You'd be like,
would.
yeah, I would try. I'd do that right now. I'd make that
Josh
switch
Allen.
right now.
If you could take Josh Allen right now, you're telling me most people here wouldn't say yes to that.
Yeah, you'd be like, yeah, I'd love to have him. Right.
Yeah, there are.
Doesn't mean we don't like Trevor.
There are 2 that I wonder after this upcoming season. I think the conversation would be. Right now, I think it's automatic. You'd take Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson over Trevor Lawrence, right? Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen for sure, right? And Matthew Stafford, depending on age, things like that. But the Joe Burrow injury thing, I do think that's something we're all going to watch. And then Lamar Jackson, as he is not able to run the football as much as he did coming into the league, and he's gotten better as a pocket passer for
Big
sure.
time, yeah.
But is he as good of a pocket passer as Trevor Lawrence will develop to be? Those are the two that I think, again, right now it's automatic you
start to
take them.
fall a
But
little
yeah,
bit.
I think the
Yeah.
conversation, depending on what Trevor does this year, could
Yeah.
even out a little bit.
Joe, injuries, yes. If he gets injured again and misses a significant portion, I think you do have to account for that. That's the only thing I could say that would make
Absolutely.
me not choose
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah. I mean, look.
You have to have your starting quarterback to win games.
And look, we got to see more out of Trevor.
Yeah.
We've seen, look, last year was great. I'm happy for him. I'm happy his game got better and better and better throughout the year. It got more consistent. He was throwing the ball better. His placement was better. There weren't balls hitting the ground. He wasn't overthrowing. He was making the right reads. His footwork was good. He was taking off and running with defiance and just vim and vigor. Like, I'm going to get that first down. I'm going to get that, whatever it is.
He was once again tough because he got rocked multiple times.
So that was fantastic.
Yeah.
But that's only 1 year and partial year. Now you could say, well, what about 2022? Yeah, it was great, but that was 4 years ago. 2023, it was okay. Then he got some injuries, but that's a long time ago. 24 wasn't good, but injuries part of it, and him being all over the place. And then 25, it came and it changed. Once it changed, you're like, yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, but he's performing like one of the better quarterbacks in the game. For it, like we said it when we were going over this. Last year, what he did, the last 8-10 games, he was performing as a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. That doesn't mean he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. If he continues down to do that year after year, then of course you'd be like, hey, look, if he does that year after, let's just say he does it again 2 more years, 3 more years in a row, and Burrow's sitting there, maybe a good year, gets hurt, maybe a good, you know what I mean? Then you'd be like, I'd probably take Trevor, man. Look at him. He's ascended. He's doing great. He's shown it. I still, look, Burrow's got to really go down the tube for that, but in that sense, you might take Trevor in that sense.
And with that, though, as we're having that conversation about those 3 guys, there's also a lot of young guys that could take this massive leap where people are like, oh, well, they've jumped certain players. If Drake May, for example, has another season, we criticized that schedule last year. If he goes and has another 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns, 8 picks this year and takes them back to the Super Bowl or into the AFC Championship games, all of a sudden you are talking about Drake May, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. Some of those guys might start to rise as Lamar and Joe and some of those other ones fall. So there's that tier right in between that I do think is in flux right now.
Yeah.
And to me, the criticism is still for Trevor, the situational awareness. Yeah. There's still that element that we expect him to be better at that, right? And I don't know that we criticize other of those elite quarterbacks for not having great situational awareness.
Well, no, we don't. We don't watch all their games.
We don't
either,
watch every snap.
No,
but in the postseason, we're watching every snap,
Absolutely.
and we're not like, well, why did he decide to do that with no timeouts? Or
like going over the line of scrimmage twice.
Or
like,
that.
that's
I mean,
kind of weird.
We did talk about Josh Allen, what knocked them out, the bad throw when it comes to the tight ends. So
That's
there are little moments, but we do watch every single throw of Trevor Lawrence, so you can be more critical.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, we, and I mean the city and the team, they love Trevor Lawrence, but to sit there and say you wouldn't trade him for anybody else, that's foolish. Same with Trayvon. You would. I mean, if you could take Will Anderson Jr. right now, would you take him over Trayvon?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Who would you think, as other teams looking, do you think they would take Josh Hines-Allen or Trayvon Walker if they had a choice to pick?
Which team?
Like, no, if a team was like, you get to choose between Josh Hines-Allen or Trayvon Walker, who do you think they would take?
I think Josh still. Yeah. I mean, although with Trayvon, there's ups, he's younger, so there's maybe a little bit more upside, but I think Josh is more the complete player.
Yeah.
I mean, Trayvon's great against the run. He is good against the pass. He's got to get better at the pass. But I think Josh has got the complete kit.
I think some would take Trayvon.
They might. Yeah.
Because he's got a little more versatility, too. And depending on
if they
what
want to slide him inside. And Seattle would probably be like, hey, I'd have fun with it.
Depending on the scheme.
I will say this. I've not seen many players that size of Trayvon Walker return a fumble recovery for a touchdown like he did against Philadelphia.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was pretty insane.
Yeah.
That's a freak
We
of
were like,
nature.
go.
He looked like a running back.
A team that has a bunch of freaks of nature in the Eagles. Yeah. All right. So the texter that I read the text from, you're not taking a stance though. Would it put a GM on the hot seat or not, as far as taking Trayvon over Aiden? Well, we saw it here. It didn't immediately get Trent Baalke
But
fired.
eventually it was a piece of the puzzle of how we got
Right.
fired.
And I do think if you pick the wrong quarterback and there was an obvious choice, then I
That's
think you
even bigger,
absolutely
yeah.
can get fired as a general manager.
Yeah.
And which we've seen that.
I don't think
the Jets said it was Zach Wilson.
I don't think the one player gets you fired.
Yeah. Right.
It
But I
depends how
do
the
think
rest
if you
of it
pick
goes.
the wrong quarterback, like
That could- well.
if the Jaguars hadn't taken Trevor and they had taken Zach Wilson,
Right.
that could have gotten
Oh.
a GM 100% fired.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, the golden moment awaits on the other side. None of us are getting fired. You're listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. Are you looking for a remix on the original Chick-fil-A sandwich? The Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is back for a limited time only this summer. It's a flavorful spin on a familiar favorite, created with Chick-fil-A chicken, a drizzle of honey, pickled jalapenos, and a spread of savory pimento cheese. This sandwich combines your favorite flavors with a new twist. Available for a limited time only, so stop by and enjoy the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich at Chick-fil-A today.
The great thing about live sports, you never know what's going to happen. Oh, how did he pull that off? Get the most live play-by-play on 1010XL.
Summertime is here, and that means it's grilling season. Now, before you overpay at the big box stores, make a stop at Houston's Meat Company on Main Street in Jacksonville. For more than 50 years, Houston's has been Jacksonville's local butcher shop, serving up quality meats, incredible prices, and the kind of service you just can't find at the grocery chain. Steaks, burgers, chicken, ribs, whatever's on the grill this weekend, Houston's has you covered. Shop local, grill better. Make Houston's Meat Company part of your weekend tradition.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
The doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists have resolved my hip and foot issues, and I'm back to training for the 2028 Olympics in LA. This is Garrett Scantling, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is David Garrard. Following my knee surgeries and recovery, I'm continuing to feel great and would recommend Southeast Orthopedic to anyone who's experiencing orthopedic pain.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, I'll be home in about 10 minutes. Actually, make it 8.
Hey, Mom. Yep, I'm walking home now. Mom, I'm trying to cross, but I don't think this driver sees me. No, they're driving too fast. Ah!
Speeding catches up with you. Early, on time, a little late, just get there safely. A message from the Florida Department of Transportation's Target Zero initiative.
Soccer fans, Michelob Ultra is going to pay somebody $90,000 to go to the FIFA World Cup 2026 final and bring the Superior Player of the Match trophy. Yes, I'm being serious right now. It's got some weight to it. This is the real thing, people. Michelob Ultra, $90,000. FIFA World Cup 2026 final. You watch the match, you get the honor of carrying the Superior Player of the Match trophy. That's a soccer fan's dream come true.
Enjoy the beautiful game with a cold Michelob Ultra, the official beer of World Cup 2026.
College football fans, I'm Greg McGarity, President and CEO of the Tech Slayer Gator Bowl. Don't miss your last chance to watch college football in Jacksonville before the stadium is renovated. The SEC and ACC face off in Everbank Stadium for this year's Tech Slayer Gator Bowl Wednesday, December 30th at 11:30 a.m. A perfect buy for family stocking stuffers. Act now and get a sizzling summer special of 4 tickets for $100 at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. One of the biggest changes we've seen in fine jewelry over the last 25 years has been the growth of jewelry designers. At Underwoods, we're the leader, bringing to North Florida the best names in designer jewelry. In fact, we carry designer lines in a similar way to how clothing stores carry designer labels. The difference is that jewelry designers have to be a little more timeless in their presentations because nobody wants to buy a fine piece of jewelry only to find out the next year it's gone out of style. That's why you'll find at Underwood's the best of the jewelry designer names, those that are tried and true and popular. Names like David Yerman, Roberto Coin, John Hardy, Marco Bichigo, Jude Francis, Lagos, Hippolyta, and a lot more are all available right now at Underwood's. So if you want the best looks in designer jewelry, stop by Underwood's, San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Golden moment as we continue to talk about some of the good things here on the Jacksonville Jaguars. We just went over some of the things between Trayvon Walker and Aiden Hutchinson, but that's in no way us saying we don't want Trayvon. We love Trayvon Walker. We think he's a fantastic player. There's not many beyond that you would pick above Trayvon. So there are some. There's a little group ahead of him, but then there's a long list of guys that I would say no way I would take them over Trayvon Walker. So that's part of it. But same when you talk about the quarterback conversation, and that's what's such an interesting thing when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, because we used to live in a world that was so divisive when it came to Trevor. It was literally either he was a complete bust and he sucks, or he was the best thing on earth and everything else is wrong around him. And I do think that gap has started to close a little bit. We do still see some people who are on very differing sides. Like some are like, there's only one quarterback. Someone on the text line said it. There's only one quarterback I would take other than Trevor Lawrence, and that's Patrick Mahomes. Other people would be like, no, Trevor's more 9, 10, 11. But I do think that has changed from in the past. It was like Trevor's either the third best quarterback or the 30th quarterback, and there was no in between for a lot of people. But I saw a stat that kind of stuck out to me the other day when it came. So since being drafted in 2021, Trevor Lawrence has made 127 regular season big time throws, which is the 6th highest total by any NFL quarterback in that time span. The guys in front of him are Joe Burrow and Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes, like the ones that we just kind of named of being that top tier. So there's 5 quarterbacks that do have those bigger play, those big time throws, which that's not everything, but that is an important thing.
So
and
not
that's
Lamar.
Lamar was not in it when it comes to the big time throws. So I
They
do
just hand the ball off to Derrick Henry.
or Lamar runs.
Take off.
And so, yeah, but that is something that, to your point, Lauren, that's going to be interesting to see how the Ravens do that, because there is going to be a point in time where you're going to have to rely on his arm a little bit more than just being like, take off and run, because you saw what happened last year when you get hurt and you lose Lamar. So you don't want to risk that even more. And we have that conversation here with Trevor, that balance of letting him unleash that, the side where he does want to take off, because we saw how threatening that could be against defenses last year. But you also know how good his arm is, and you want to be able to rely on that sometimes with those deep passes to hopefully Brian Thomas Jr. this year. But I do think that was interesting, because this shows that in those big moments when he's needed to, we've seen those huge throws from Trevor. And there's only 5 quarterbacks that have done it more times than him since 2021. So
very impressive.
There's a lot of good things.
I mean, look, Trevor would wow you with unbelievable throws.
Yeah.
You'd be like, holy cow, that was just incredible. And then he'd also wow you the other way by missing a guy that's wide open. And you're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you sailing it over his head or missing him
like, who was
outside
that too?
or on the ground? But then it got better and better. So it was never a physical thing for Trevor. And I think people, that's the first thing they think of when you say, oh, he's not really playing well, he's not that good. It's not because he doesn't have the physicality to do it, the physical tools to do it. He's got everything you need to be an awesome quarterback in the National Football League. And the hope is that he has put it all together, and that'll continue on. I for one, think it will, because of Liam. Yeah. And I think they're going to hold him accountable like they did this last year. And it's going to be, hey, whatever we got to fix, we're fixing. And no ego, no hurt feelings, none of that crap. We're just going to get it done so you're better, which will make our team better and everybody happier. So if he does that, it's all been the consistency with Trev. Because he'd make throws, you'd be like, oh, man, that was
very few quarterbacks could do it. Like, there's moments where you leave games like that. There's not very many quarterbacks that could make that throw. And then you've left some other games where you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, how's he missing far and outside? Trevor Bank. And I will say about Lamar, not last year, obviously the injuries, but over time, he's gotten really good from the pocket. Yeah. He's got great arm. He can make all the throws. So I think if he's healthy, he could be right back up in that top tier of
For sure.
QBs.
Yeah, I think the other
He's
name
awesome.
that we talk about at times, but probably doesn't get enough credit because he doesn't call the plays, is Grant Udinski. I was thinking about him this week because as we've seen a lot of the people in the NFL world, this is their time to travel if they want to take summer vacation. And I was like, I wonder where Grant Udinski is in the world because he takes those hiking trips and camping and has no cell phone service and he doesn't tell you in advance where he's going to go. So I was like, I wonder where he is right now.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen him riding his bike on First Street lately. He does do that a little bit. We see him on a rare occasion when he's got time.
He's probably like in the Swiss Alps or something.
Yeah, and look, every QB, no matter how good a relationship they have with the head coach, you need a buffer. Whether that's your OC or it's your
QB
quarterback coach, you need just someone to buffer the times that there is going to be friction
the tension
between you and the head coach. It's just inevitable that the head coach and the QB will have some
It's
friction.
like a marriage counselor.
Yeah.
Right. And
If
then
you go through times of tension, you need a marriage counselor so that you're not just saying the same thing to each other and butting heads over and over again.
Listen,
we saw the hit the chest and the shoe away last year.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
we saw
Which
it.
at the time we were like, what
oh,
is
God.
that?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
And then everyone in the NFL world was like, this marriage is gonna end quickly. But yeah, I feel like Grant Udinski is the one who steps in between, right, at halftime or whenever they go in the meeting room the next time. And it's like, all right, this is what he's trying to say, and this is what I know you want. And it is interesting. There are so many moments from last year where things drastically changed. Like you talk about Anthony Campanile saying we had to bring the defense all the way down to the studs. You talk about that moment in that Bengals game early on. Then you talk about the let her rip, like Liam Cohen just being like, please just let her rip. Like so many different moments that you can point to and be like, man, that really changed the trajectory of the rest of the season.
Yeah, and just the difference that we saw offensively with the amount of the legal shifts and motions and pre-snap stuff early and how drastically that changed. And I don't know, to me, it wasn't like a phrase. Someone said a phrase and all of a sudden that changed. You just saw all of a sudden, like around week 9, 10, it just flipped. And Tommy, I remember us so specifically being on this show and I'm like, it's week 8. Like at some point they've got to figure this out. And then all of a sudden you started to see that offense calm down a little bit. And maybe it was Jacoby Myers and some of the drops and all of those being able to level out, that they were able to just kind of settle and let it rip was maybe a part of that too. But even that, the drastic, if you were to split the season in 2 halves and say, here's the pre-snap penalties and all these illegal motions that were happening, it would have been drastic difference between those first 8-9 weeks compared to the second half of the season.
And think about Trevor, like he went from the band to not the band to the band.
Oh yeah, that was the thing too.
And then calling his, calling audibles that weren't sent in from the sideline. That shows you, like, man, he's really come a long way with knowing the offense, and it's still more to learn. Yeah, that's the thing, and that's one thing about Liam. He's going to make sure, and Grant, they're going to make sure that he knows everything. He's ready to go.
And Shane Waldron.
Hey, Shane,
he's got a promotion.
Whoever works for them.
Got a promotion, yeah. So. It's just unbelievable.
I know, it's so
him.
funny.
Like it's like the bases couldn't stand him where they were. Then they flip, and everyone loves them.
Good, yeah.
It's the reduced role. Nobody cares if you're, as long as you're not calling the plays.
Yeah.
And that was obviously part of it here.
Yeah.
All right, 1 segment to go. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, 10 to XL, 92.5 FM.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be a 9-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient, the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award. Trust me, I know this. I've been dealing with Nimnick forever, and they really are that good. For 3 generations, Nimnick's been the place customers keep coming back to. Customers like me, treating you right, giving the most back to our community, more choices and better prices. It's just the best place to buy cars, and I can promise you that. So who gives you the best experience when you're buying a car? Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Renovations are underway at the golf club at Southampton, but that doesn't mean you still can't come out and hone your game. The practice facility is open Tuesday through Sunday with a great membership offer to work on your game year-round. Log on to golfsouthampton.com or check out their Facebook page. Work on your tee game, iron play, shots around the green, and of course your putting. It's all there and a great way to stay fresh until they unveil fresh new greens in October. Check it all out at the golf club at Southampton. Call 287-PLAY.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about letting things roll off of your back. So often we can make big deals out of things that are not really big deals. we can allow them to steal the joy of our day. But let me remind you that don't allow anyone or anything to steal the joy of today. Go out today not letting little things steal the big things that God has in store for you.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Southwest Greens is the OG of artificial turf in North Florida. Stop mowing and start chipping or putting or just relaxing with a beautiful backyard, maintenance free. Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
In Jacksonville, we love our sports. You might say we flip out over them. Football, baseball, soccer, hockey, basketball, golf, and there's our outdoor game, fishing, surfing, and just chilling. There's so much to do, it will make your head spin. But keep your cap on because Visit Jacksonville has you covered. Check out visitjacksonville.com/locals or download the Visit Jax app and stay on the ball for all the upcoming sports events in Jax. Go local, go sports. Jacksonville, the flip side of Florida.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter? I came right over.
It's my water, Jason. Smell this.
Yeesh.
That came out of my tap, Jason. I'm worried there's a lot more in there than just H and 2 and O.
Well, yeah. In Jacksonville, we have some of the hardest water in Florida. There's calcium carbonate in there and magnesium sulfate and...
I'm sorry, calcium... what now?
It's the same stuff that makes those cool stalactites in caves.
Well, it's making my shower all powdery, my tap's all crusty, and caves make me claustrophobic.
Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Call Bueller Air and Plumbing. And our water treatment experts will do a free water quality test. We'll check for minerals, bacteria, anything that might make your water smelly or damage your plumbing or appliances.
And if it's bad, you can fix it?
Your glasses will come out cleaner, your shampoo will lather better.
I like a good lather, Jason.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Wouldn't trade this Tyler for a stone cold $1 million. My green all comes blue collar, and I'm all good with that.
I had to close this out with some Morgan Wallen, and I'm so sorry to our good friend on X, Wayne. He was very disappointed I did not play any Waylon Jennings, but I tried not to make it all country. I could have gone Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings, but I wasn't trying to force country down y'all's throats today. Y'all. Off the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, I'll take Minshew over Trevor any day. And I don't think this texter is joking. I think they're being serious.
There's pro Minshewers out there for sure.
And so we'll see that quarterback competition, the three-way
His last
quarterback
text to us, by the way, to the text line was on June 23rd at 11:52 saying, don't forget about Minshew. So he's very adamant about Gardner Minshew, whoever this is.
Yeah, for sure. That quarterback competition in Arizona, we talked about all the different ones in the NFL upcoming, but that one in Arizona, I would imagine Jacoby Brissett has the leg up right now, but who's going to be the backup quarterback? Gardner Minshew or Carson Beck? If Jacoby is the starting quarterback, or how quickly can Carson Beck maybe overtake him? And then there's a battle for the backup QB job between Gardner and Jacoby. I think that one's really interesting.
Yeah, personally, not the room I'd be wanting to personally be trying to figure out if it was my team. That's not the three quarterbacks that I'd be wanting to choose from, but it's interesting, especially here from Jacksonville.
And Bears fans have had worse quarterbacks.
Jacoby, he's still got to get a contract worked out, doesn't he? Remember, he was
he
kind of
said,
holding
that he
out
wants
or whatever.
a larger contract. But if he's not going to get first team reps in training camp, and that's what's so exciting about after the next 3 weeks, we'll be fully invested in the training camp here and obviously around the country too, the NFL. So we'll get to see the reports. Remember last year we were tracking with the Browns; they had 5 different quarterbacks, and we were like, who's
going to do it?
Yeah, who's going to get the most reps with?
Yeah, then Pickett was gone.
Right.
So I remember because we talked to Mary Beth. Is that her name?
Mary Kay
Mary
Cabot?
Kay Cabot.
Yep.
And she was the one, she was kind of right on when it came to that quarterback battle. And we thought it was a little bit crazy when we were talking to her, and then she ended up being right when it came. She said there was probably a chance that all of them make it, but she was like, if nobody makes it, then it's probably Kenny Pickett out the door. And we were all like, oh, that's kind of crazy, because you drafted 2 young guys, and we'd figure maybe you try to like get one of those, another team to get one of those, and Pickett had been there for a little while and whatever. But that one is another room I would not want to be.
Yeah. I think for Arizona, they got a brand new coach, right? So you might want to go with the young kid and just throw him into the fire.
Right away.
Let's start with him. He's our guy. I mean, Jacoby just seems more the safer route, not going to throw a game away. Look, Minshew's fine, but if you can't beat out Minshew at this point, then, you don't, I don't know. I know that sounds terrible.
Minshew's fun to come in. Like, you get Minshew mania, and he'll come in and save a game every now and then. And it's
he's Sandlot.
Yeah.
He is. But when they figure you out, it's not going to work when they figure you out.
Yeah.
But off the bench, not expecting him, and he let him do his game, he could be effective. But you would think if you're the young coach, which he
Mike
is.
LaFleur, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. LaFleur's brother.
Yeah, LaFleur's brother, who's a really good coach in Green Bay overall. I don't know. I'd probably, you got to see Carson. He's got to obviously have all the goods, but I'd probably roll with the young kid, and just go with that. I don't know. That's the thing with coaches, man. They're tied to the QB.
Yeah. And
you got to be right. If you don't have the right QB, it's a problem.
100%.
And then after a while, they start looking at getting rid of you, until you get the new QB, and you might run out of time. So that's going to be an interesting one. I wouldn't be shocked if Jacoby starts it off and then maybe eventually Carson takes over if needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be fun to follow. By the way, Miles Russell at the ISCO Championship didn't have the best outing today. He is 2 over. That puts him tied for 113th out of 144 golfers. A ton of guys are tied there at 113, but he's still on the course. He is through 7 holes, so hopefully that does improve, and then hopefully he has a good day tomorrow with, like we mentioned yesterday, with Paul Tesori on the bag. We're cheering for you there, Miles. Get her done. They're in Louisville, Kentucky. Let's say hello to the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
His Carline joins us now. Would you take Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson over Trevor Lawrence right now?
Yes.
Okay. But if Joe Burrow has another injury, if Lamar has another injury, then would it be closer?
No.
Still no?
I mean,
Okay.
and this is what I would say to that. Lamar Jackson's a 2-time MVP. Yeah. I mean, that's rare company in the history of this league. So he hasn't been good in the playoffs, but just for basis on how good of a player is he, 2-time MVP says it all. And Joe Burrow, when he is healthy, is incredible. And he's been consistent. He's gotten a team to a Super Bowl. Injuries have really been his only ailment. So, with Trevor, he's had a fantastic second half to this past season, and he was, richly deserving of being an MVP finalist for the run that he led the team on. But you got to do it again. Trevor Lawrence falls into the same category that pretty much everyone in the Jaguars organization currently falls into, which is looks great. Do it again.
Do it again. That's right.
So I would say I'd put Trevor third in that group.
Okay. Taylor asked a question earlier. If you were another team, another NFL team, would you take Josh Hines-Allen or Trayvon Walker?
Probably. I think if you polled 32 the other 31 clubs, I think Hines-Allen would have more of the vote. I'd be more inclined to keep Trayvon Walker, and I don't know. I guess I'll just go down with the ship on this because I still think that he's going to have an incredible NFL career. I just think that there's environmental things, how he was used in college, obviously injuries last year. I still think we're going to look up, and Trayvon Walker's going to have a couple of seasons where he's in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. But I think most clubs would take Hines-Allen over Walker.
Do you think that's with Trayvon moving around more, or just?
I would hope a little bit, but I do think he can become a dominant force just on the edge.
Yeah.
And I think he's somebody that can get 15.5 sacks, which with the way he plays the run in the right year would put him in the running for defensive player. You know, if Myles Garrett goes and gets 22 sacks, then he's not going to win it.
Right.
But could he be a top 3, top 4 finisher in that?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I think that. So, but yeah, it's a great question, and I would think of the 31, it would be pretty close. But I would take Trayvon, but I would expect to be in the minority with that.
Last day with Hacker?
Last day with Hacker, so we certainly appreciate him helping us out with Frank on vacation this week. So, yeah, we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up on the Frangie Show. Lee Smith will join us at 4:15, the executive director of the Players' Championship. So we'll break down today's first round of the Scottish Open, but also look ahead to Royal Birkdale next week for the British Open. That'll be a lot of fun. And then Pete Prisco will join us at 5:15 to talk Jaguars and NFL.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Hayes.
All right, thank you,
We shall
guys.
be listening. Yeah, good stuff. And then the lead tomorrow with Hayes and Ryan O'Halloran.
Oh, yeah.
And then Frank back next week. That'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, for Tom McMinnis, for Jared Justice, filling in for RJ Saunders. Great job, Jared.
Yeah,
I'm
Jared.
Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow on a Friday, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show is next.
All over you.